How are
Well,
you, Christine?
I'm lovely. I'm good.
That's
Um,
good.
actually, I do you remember last week we were talking about, well, we talked about a lot of things last week. It was so difficult to try to come up with a title for last week's video because I'm like, I don't know, we talked about a million things and so I just kind of winged it. But one of the things we talked about was our weaknesses we were going back over the week before, right? And Yahim was saying this, and I was really relating about how he says yes to everyone, you know, people pleasery thing. That's a problem for me too. And I have been struggling this week to figure out like where am I doing this? Where is it the Lord? Where is it not the Lord? You know, because the thing is, you don't want to quit being loving. It's not about that. It's not about you want to love when the Lord says, yes, do this, then of course you want to do that. But you don't want to say yes when it's out of obligation or something that the Lord is saying no to. So I struggled with it yet again right before our meeting. I had someone beg me to meet with them as an emergency. And I was struggling because I didn't know how I'd squeeze it in and all of this. Um and I just did it without even asking, I'll be honest. And I'm still learning and growing about this. You know, there are times when I say yes without asking the Lord. Most times I do that, sadly. And I did it again, and the Lord did some great things in it. I'm not sure if he went Romans 8:28 on it or if it was really his will. um, but I'm glad that it went well and it was good. But I've been a little decompressing from that. Like 5 minutes before we started, I'm going, okay, let it go, give it away. I don't know if I think I've told you guys this before, but with every person that I meet with, I have to have a little bit of buffer time between meetings and stuff because I have to release them back to the Lord. And it's almost like a little ceremony, if you will, that I have to do with the Lord every time. Because otherwise I hold on to them and keep their junk. It's like I create a soul tie that's a godly soul tie that becomes an ungodly soul tie if I keep them. And so I have to release them and let them go into healing, let me go into healing, all of that. And so I was recognizing with this person who I was meeting with that I have been dealing with a lot of the same stuff as him, which means I have not released him like I should. Do you know what I mean? Because that means I'm dealing with his junk again. And so I have a real problem with this, which is one reason that I struggle so much with health issues, is because I hold on to other people's stuff by accident. And so, anyway, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm just sharing my learning.
What's the best thing? Do you release them in different ways? Or
I
could it
know
be?
I pretty much do one thing, and it's what the Lord has led me to do. I don't know that it would be the same for everyone, but so a long, long time ago, he showed me that I had a graveyard in my heart, which sounds
Wow.
horrible. And it was horrible, actually. But this graveyard was not just something that I had created. This was something from, this is going to sound crazy, but this is from like many, 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 many generations back. And this was something that it originated with Yeshua's mother, Mary, that she did the same thing as I do. which I didn't know any of this. Okay. And also, I wouldn't have known I was related. I haven't done any DNA tests to find out I'm a Jew, but apparently I have it. Anyway, um, but it was like this mass graveyard in my heart, in the heart of my soul. And um, basically, I was shown that that's why I feel so comfortable with death. I've always thought, man, I could be a funeral
Man, let's
director.
go Pirates.
Nadia, I'm muting you. I love you. Okay. Anyway, just because I have always enjoyed being around people during their mourning, and death has never bothered me. I've seen tons of people die and it's not weird for me. Turns out it's because I had this graveyard in my heart, which is so crazy. But anyway, he started showing me that I needed to release them all into resurrection, like a resurrection and ascension. And so I started doing it then. He started showing me different people, and then people I didn't know, but especially people I did know at first, who I had held in my heart. When I meet with people, I take on their stuff and I take them on. I take on their death. And it's very similar to what Yeshua did on the cross, actually. He took on the death and all of that, but he released it in resurrection, where I have kept it. And so, anyway, I have to release them. And so I see myself giving them, it's like releasing them into ascension to the Father. Okay. And so that's what I do. And if I feel their energy still on me, I like kind of sweep it off of my body. And that's what he has led me to do. And so I try to do that every time I meet with anyone. Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. So could be someone who's like the best friend I have, I still have to do that. Otherwise, I still carry their junk and they don't come into full healing. And so it has to be, it's like it has to be a thing. And so that's why I take a 15-minute break in between every class or appointment or anything like that, is so I can do that with the Lord. And
So that means, Christine, that because it becomes a consequence for you, I can see you have to then be probably not probably, I'll take that word back. You have to be obedient to the Lord, but also kind to yourself to make sure you finish your appointments on time so you can get that time to just cleanse yourself. Otherwise, probably the last person's junk will probably filter into the next person's junk, which
yes,
will probably get stuck into you. And it doesn't sound nice, put it that way.
this is true. And what's really interesting that I found is that the longer I wait to release people, the more it sticks, if that makes sense. And so it's like if I don't do it right away and say I forget all day until the end of the day, it's like it's already started to take root. And so I have to be obedient pretty quickly afterwards. And so, yeah, there have been times where people will go long and it runs right into the next thing I have, or my kids come in and go, "Oh, you're done here," and they interrupt me or whatever. And it's not good for me and it's not good for the other person either. It's both. It's how it affects me. I notice, obviously, but the Lord showed me that it affects them too. And so they also are tied to me, and they aren't released into their full healing if I don't do that. So,
That
yeah,
sounds serious.
it is. And I hope all of you can take my advice in it, because I had no idea. No one taught me that.
No. Could that be the reason why? And I thought about this. When you hug people or you have some people come into your home, like for me, I have students coming into my home. I had a lady who she's very open about the severe trauma she experienced from the age of 12 without her consent for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And she just openly discloses this. She spent the night at mine. The following night, I had the most bizarre sexual dream. And it's like, it is, you can, I just knew it was not from God because it's not me
Yeah.
what was happening. Could that be something like that? I should have probably cleansed or released myself or something.
Yeah, and your home. So a lot of times other people's demonic stuff will come onto you like that. And so, yeah, it's not only their trauma that attaches to you or sickness, it can be their demonic things. So these spirits, especially for you in your home, and you want to get all of that off of your body. You want to get all of that out of your home. And you kind of need to do that quickly. So if you say she's still at your house, you need to continue to like do what the Lord leads you to do. But oftentimes the Lord will have me anoint things or at least diffuse frankincense or something, whatever it is that the Lord leads you to do. It could be something totally different, but the point is to go, okay, Lord, what do I do with this? You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely something in that because knowing the experiences she's had, she stayed overnight, and then I had that dream. There's definitely something to it where we need to release things from ourselves when we're in contact with people or
Yeah.
even in our home.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
I
Thank you.
think, yeah, I, it's interesting. I think we're going into this subject today, apparently. um, this happens. I was like, Lord, what are we supposed to do? And he just said, I'll show you. And so, okay. Anyway, it's interesting. If any of you, I think all of you live with families or have other people in your home. If you have other people in your home, what they do and allow in also affects you. And so this is something that I have had to share with my kids because there are some things that are permissible for other people and are not okay for me. Okay. So for instance, I only, let's say this, for a long time, it was okay if I watched things on TV that had certain themes or whatever, because I recognized that it was pretend and fake. And then there came a time when the Lord says, no more. And it's because I became a real target. Okay. So they will take any open doors. So, for instance, witchcraft. Okay. I get hit by witchcraft a lot. I don't know any witches. Okay. I don't have connections to people like that, but I'm seen in the spirit as a threat. And so I am often targeted with major witchcraft attacks that are very obvious, like, you know, curses written on doors and animal heads left on my porch and, things like that. That's been a normal thing in my life now since doing all of this engaging. And I've had to say to the kids, I know it doesn't seem like a big deal to you. I know you're not going to practice witchcraft, but you cannot have that in my house. It is a portal and it isn't anything I can have in my home because I get attacked. Even if you feel fine, I don't care. I can't have it. And hopefully, everyone in your home will understand, but not everyone in your home is probably a believer. And so, you know, this has been a struggle for me, even if they don't share my same beliefs, hopefully they can love me enough to care about me and not do it. And so it's not always the case, even with that. I understand some divorces are going on right now, right? And so it may not be that they really give a crap about you, but hopefully. Okay. Hey, can you give me 1 second? I need to say goodbye to my kid. Okay. Hold on.
Myrna, do you get stuff like that happening to you? Oh, sorry.
No,
Go
it's
ahead,
okay.
Christine.
You can talk.
No, it's okay. I was
You were
asking Myrna a
asking.
question.
Well, actually, yeah. And like Christine did mention that one before, and I've been doing it. But the last time I had a engagement with somebody about 4 or 5 days ago, and I had an attack. Like all my body is was sore, and everything is similar with that person the one had, but I didn't, the Lord didn't allow me to pray for him or to do anything, but just to advise him how, take a communion and that. And I thought, oh, that makes sense. And then sometimes when I actually watch a movie, it like I feel what they're feeling as well too. And I was wondering what's going on in here, Lord. Like I was just asking the question, like if it's something gonna happen, and I like notice that something gonna happen, I turn the the TV down, right down. No, I don't hear and then I don't watch. So I noticed I've been doing recently things like that, and I thought, oh, that makes sense. What actually Christine is talking about, and to give it to the Lord straight away. But I did start engaging over my body for that pain. So today is the first day is that I got up without no pain, like walking, and like the pain actually hits me all over my body. Like I couldn't get up. It just takes me about half an hour to stretch and things like that. But then, yeah, so I've been taking my body and, engaging about that one, that part.
Yeah. Well, maybe ask the Lord if you do need to release that person, for instance, that you were, I wouldn't say engaging with, but when the one you were advising to take communion, um, because it sounds like your energy is really open and um okay, hold on 1 second. This is a bad time for transitioning, but my girls are transitioning right now, and so I have to say goodbye again.
Sure.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll share. That's definitely happens. Used to happen a lot more to me. One time my husband went out with his friend, and they went to go watch a scary movie, and he came home and I started dreaming the movie. And when I was telling him about the movie the following day, it was exactly some certain scenes of the movie, and I didn't even watch the movie. And so I've always been sensitive to stuff like that. Um, and it's one of the reasons why I do not like to watch scary movies.
Yeah.
And I tell the kids, nope, not allowed, because I could be, hypersensitive to those things. Um, and I think it has to do also perhaps with our discernment. You know how you can pick up, you're around people and you pick up stuff like that. It's like I immediately have to like say, like bless myself or cover myself with the blood of Jesus or cut me off from that. And working with a lot of students, I've had a lot of experiences. And so I've had to learn to, completely cut myself. But of course, in middle of like the chaos or this or that, sometimes we don't do it. And I don't find out until later on or whatnot. But yeah, that is something definitely we have to be mindful of is cutting ourselves from them, from that person, or just cleansing ourselves, like whatever the Lord leads, but for sure.
Yeah. I think that's important. And one of the things that I was trying to say about Myrna, it sounds like you're doing this, which I often do this too. But sometimes I'm too open with my energy. And I know that sounds a little strange, but it's like I am not having boundaries around my being, if that makes sense. And so I do that often because I'm a very like affectionate, emotional kind of person. And even with strangers, I just immediately connect with people. And I don't mean to. So it's not like I'm intentional about doing that. It's just I became like this somehow. And so I unintentionally connect with people really easily. And because of that, I can take on their junk very easily as well. And so I've had to learn to pay attention to the Lord in how I need to create boundaries. So, especially if I'm going into a store or something like that, that I try to be mindful of, oh, I'm going into this place. Don't just connect, because that's what I have a tendency to do. And the Lord has given me certain boundaries for myself. Sometimes it's just like, envisioning a big kind of bubble around me, if that makes sense. He will show me that sort of thing. It's important that you engage with these things. I know this sounds interesting, but hopefully you guys have started to figure this out. If you actually envision it, you don't just believe, oh, there's a bubble around me. That's not helpful. Okay. It doesn't do anything. You have to engage it. So you have to use your imagination, if you will. I know people think your imagination is make believe, but it's not. The Lord has given us our mind's eye, the eyes of our heart, to be able to actually manifest things. And so we manifest it by envisioning it, by seeing it happen. So whatever it is, say for instance, like I know Karen, she's been led to anoint her whole body with oil every day, as like a boundary, right? So Karen, as you've been doing that, I mean, I trust you're doing all these things, but I'm just going to tell you just in case and tell everyone else, use it as an example. As you are doing that, if you just do it in the physical, it won't do anything. You have to anoint yourself with the oil as you are allowing Holy Spirit to cover you. So you are envisioning and the manifestation of Holy Spirit all over you. So the oil is a physical act. It's a prophetic act. That's what it is. And so just know, if we do things in the physical, it's to get our body to come in line with what's being done in the spirit, right? And so if you just do communion by drinking grape juice and eating bread, you're doing nothing. You have to actually engage it, right? You have to have communion with Yeshua. See yourself communing with him, becoming one with him, all of that. That's how everything works. And so if we do things in the natural, we need to make sure that we're actually doing it in the spirit, and it's not just one or the other. If we do it only in the spirit, there's some good. But when we do it with the spirit and in the physical, it's like all of us comes together as one, and we get to join together, and our body, soul, and spirit is all together having this manifestation, right?
Christine, is that what some people would also call doing things intentionally?
Probably.
So for example, if you see, sorry?
I said probably.
Oh, and the reason why I ask in terms of intention is that, for example, you mentioned with Karen, if you see the Holy Spirit kind of like just pouring oil over your head in the spirit,
Mhm.
yes, that's good, but it's like you have to mirror that in the natural by an act of faith where you put oil on your body. So that means you are engaged in what you see in. So by you pouring the oil,
Mhm.
as in heaven as on earth, that's an act of faith. Is that also what I have just called being intentional with it, or that's something different?
I mean, it is being intentional, but I think it is okay. You know how we've talked about trading?
Yes.
Okay, not everyone here. I guess Jimmy, you weren't around for this, so you may not have heard anything about this in the past, but um when
I
we
have.
you have, okay, good. So when we trade in the natural or in the physical, it's always connected. So for instance, if you're feeling that oil come over you in the spirit, and then you use the oil in the natural, it is a trade. What you're doing is you are trading one thing for another. So as the oil is coming over you, you are receiving the healing, right? You are giving one thing and receiving another thing. Everything we do is a trade. Every breath we take, everything is a trade. When we miss out on what we're actually supposed to be doing with trading, it's because we are either not doing a trade in the spirit or we're not doing a trade in the natural, right? So, for instance, say you love me so much, you definitely want to sow into me, and you, in the spirit, you go and you, I don't know what you do. You give me a gift in the spirit. It's awesome. But if I receive nothing in the natural, I'm not going to understand it. I'm not going to receive the trade, right? And so there's something that happens when you do both. If you give a ministry money, but you don't actually trade before the Father, what good is that? It's the same. We have to do one or the other. Do them both, right? So, for instance, if you give to a ministry, but you're not actually giving in the spirit, there is no benefit, right?
Wow.
And so we have to remember the trade is it's all of us coming together as one for the manifestation to happen. And so we want to be doing all of this as one. If we
Mm,
love, we want to love in the spirit, we want to love with our soul, and we want to love with our body. Do you know
mm.
how hard it is for me to, for instance, with Amanda, Karen, Nydia, all of you I have never met in person. Do you know how heart-wrenching that is? It sounds so silly, but my body needs to be with your body. It's true. It's the oneness, right?
Oh, we love
I'm
you.
so grateful to have you here. At least I see you. When you don't have your cameras on, Amanda, Jimmy, Nydia, Lorado, Myrna, it's harder. It's harder. Hi.
Yay! I love it when I can see live faces as well.
uh, there's something about this physical aspect. I know it's strange, but it's true. I know I'm a ball baby. Jimmy's like, oh man, all these women, what's up? I'm sorry. What are you're talking, Jimmy, but you're muted. Say it again.
I was like, where you at, Yakeem?
I know. I know. Where is it? Oh my goodness. Well, thank you guys for having your video up for me. There is something that is helpful in this. And it's not just, it's because it feels more real.
Yes.
It's strange, but it does. And it helps a lot. But this is actually a really serious concept. Even though I'm being a little silly with it. It's really important that we use every part of us as one to do anything in the spirit. If you are engaging but not doing anything in the natural, what good is it? Right? Have you ever heard people say, they're so heavenly, they're of no earthly good? That pisses me off, by the way. I've had people say that to me and I just want to punch them. And so then I think, well, I am of no earthly good if I'm just doing that. But, the truth is, if you are only focused in the heavenly realms and you're not actually manifesting anything in the natural, it will not affect the world. It will be for your own pleasure only. And it won't actually do anything. You won't have things change in your life. Yes, Pearl.
This is the other half of my prayer in that case, because for the longest while I had stopped praying because I didn't see any, I just had the belief that it doesn't matter. There's no point in praying because, one, I don't even know if it's being answered. I'm doing it religiously because it helps keep something. And the other would be, I don't really see the manifestation of it, very, very rarely. And I think this is the missing part. And Jimmy said that in the chat. We are not taught this in church. I, from what you have just said, would be now much more confident, is like another level of my faith, that when I see something in the spirit, the Bible does say, in earth as it is in heaven. Jesus did say, I will do nothing unless I see my Father do it. You are just teaching us the other part of it. That is the connection. Trade is the currency of heaven. Faith is the currency of heaven.
Yeah.
And I'll be so much more confident now in my prayers and in my trading. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, pleasure. I think, I was, the meeting I had right before this, I told you that it was a last minute emergency sort of meeting, right? And as I was meeting with him, he needs me sometimes because I am his physical connection to Yeshua. In his body, he struggles so much. And what I've learned is that I can connect in my body with his body. Okay. I know it's somewhat of a gift. I really believe everyone can do it. It's just I've learned how. But when I'm connecting with someone in oneness, I tune into their body and I can feel what their body is feeling. And so when I do that, I can then take that before Yeshua and go, what do we do? Okay, right now I'm feeling this tightness in the chest. What do we do? And so then he shows me, tell him he needs to open up his chest and breathe. And so that's what I did. And I just do that, right? And then he's feeling the stuff in his head and I feel the stuff in his head. And so I see Yeshua holding him in the river of life and kind of under his head, he's like floating, and under his head, he was massaging his neck. And he was showing me that it's because his neck is tense that this stuff is happening in his body like this. And so then I'm able to share all of this, but it's because I'm engaging in oneness in the spirit, in the soul and in the body. And so even though this guy, I've never met him in person, he's in the UK. I know that I can connect to him because I can go, hey, I'm feeling this. Are you feeling this? And he's like, yes, that's exactly what's going on. Because I don't have to guess. I feel it in my body. I feel what he's going through. And so then he's like, I'm not alone. Someone can feel what I'm feeling. And it's just a different experience. And it's the manifesting of both. It's the trade. It's this going in oneness and not just saying, well, I see him holding you in the river of life. It's like I'm feeling it in the body too. So then I can show him how it's manifesting. You know what I mean? And then he can feel the shalom coming over him that Yeshua was releasing in his body. And it's just really cool to be able to do all of that. And it's because of this on earth as it is in heaven bit. It really is both. And so some people have learned to do one, but it's important that we learn to do all, that we learn the oneness, that becomes something that we're passionate about, becoming one within ourselves, like to have our spirit, soul, and body functioning as one, that all of our trades are one and it comes together, because these things are important. If you honor the Lord, he will show you what to do in the earth. He will show you the things in the earth, just like Yeshua was doing amazing things in the earth and also very normal things in the earth. You know, sometimes Yeshua just said, go sit with them and eat. And that can be powerful. I don't know how many times I've had people at my table go, wow, I've just never been loved like this. And I'm like, we're just eating and having fun and loving each other and sharing our highlights. And, you know, that stuff can be powerful for people if we just pay attention to what the Lord is doing in heaven to make sure that we're manifesting these things on the earth, you know? Okay, well, I didn't plan to go into all of that, but there you go.
I'm so glad you are.
Any questions? Any testimonies?
Go on, Karen. I can see you smiling.
She has to unmute while she's driving.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Look, I didn't want to share it though, but I guess I really should because this week has been so great. I've engaged quite a bit, um, and with a few of my classmates here, and along with the father, and I was able to learn a lot more about my purpose, my identity. So that was so great, and it was awesome. And I wanted to ask a question. Like I have been around people, and somehow sometimes like I can still smell them in my house.
Mhm.
Like they're not there anymore, but I can smell them. And it can be days, and all of a sudden I can just be sitting there, and all of a sudden I smell them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you have a sensitive sniffer or if you smell in the spirit, okay? Because there are both things. I have a sensitive sniffer. I don't smell in the spirit very much, you know, but my sister, on the other hand, smells in the spirit all the time and not very much in the natural. So, you know, which is it?
Okay.
I feel like their essence is sticking around. Okay.
Yes.
If you feel that way, you need to ask the Lord if they need to return to themselves, which is probable. Okay. Most of the time, when people do this, many people don't mean to. Okay. You might think, oh, they're trying to astral project. It's not always like that. In fact, the guy I was meeting with before that I was just talking about, he has a real problem with his soul just leaving his body, and he does not mean for this to happen. This is never intentional. It's just something that he does not have boundaries with his, we were just talking about the boundary thing. He has no boundaries, and it's terrible for him. But he oftentimes, his soul will be literally kind of stuck somewhere else, parts of his soul anyway. And so that's important if that happens, that you can help put it back in their body. Okay. So you can ask Yeshua what to do, and if that's what's supposed to happen, and he'll show you exactly what to do. Like with this guy today, I was led to say it's time to come home and direct it to come back into his body. And then Yeshua literally like tied this gold. It's like he tied it to his body. It was very funny. But he used this gold cord and was like tying it to his body to get it to stay there. And so it wasn't a prisoner kind of thing. It was a grounding kind of thing. But yeah, would I know to do that? No, I just saw him doing it. And so you have to just go, okay, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? The Lord might go, oh, you need to anoint this door with oil. I don't know. So you never know what he's going to lead you to do, but for sure ask. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. But this week was so awesome. All of my classmates engaging. It was pretty cool. Okay.
Yay.
Thank you.
That's so nice. Good. Cool. Anything else, you guys? Yes. Lorado, go ahead.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I also had an awesome week. And wait, let me attend to my son quickly
It's okay.
before he steals the moment. Um, oh, yeah, the week was amazing. Ooh, it was a lot. So, yeah, we had amazing time engaging. Don't even know where to start, but it was, oh, yeah, out of this world. I also want to ask with regard to I visited my sister and I took a nap on her bed, and throughout that nap I was attacked. I was fighting things. It happens a couple of times. I think as for me, I shouldn't sleep in other people's bed. And I woke up. I had to wake up and leave her bed. And then I was visiting my stepmother, her little sister. She's into Sangoma stuff. Yeah, they call it traditional healer. At night, they made me sleep on her bed. And I slept on her bed alone. And there was something that grabbed me, but not my physical body. Part of me, probably my soul, I'm not sure. Or my spirit, I don't know. But it grabbed, I could feel part of me separating, going under the bed, being dragged down. I had to fight back. If I didn't fight back, I knew I would be separated with part of me for good. So I knew I had to fight back. I had to remember the name of Jesus right there and there. And in the morning, they found me sleeping on the grandma's feet on her bed, and then they were all laughing. It was a joke. And then another one, the lady who looks after my child. Usually when I'm on night shift, they sleep on my bed, and I would have dreams. Previously, I was not sure that's the case because of her, but because we have a bit of different faith,
Yeah.
it's been a challenge where I would have dreams that I would feel attacked. And after we engaged with Karen, it was like an experience of a prodigal son a bit, where I was reminded of a lion that I am, that the roar inside of me that had to come out. One morning this week, I woke up fighting like, a lion in the jungle when it's marking territories and making its presence known and felt with the roar, with the thunder, with everything, especially the thunder. I wasn't sure when I woke up whether I'm still dreaming or I had a vision or, a bit of confusion to try to balance you coming back to reality and the dream world, or is it a vision? But I could still wake up with the same energy, with the same roar. The whole morning I was praying in tongues, even up until at work. And I was just reminded of a warrior that I am, that I must fight and stand my ground and take territories for the Father. It was amazing. And ever since this week, my confidence has been rising because I was asked at work whether with my career I want to be in management or I'm just going to be an engineer going forward. And my confidence was not up to the challenge. I didn't want anything. I just want to be a housewife. But after this week, I'm willing to manage people and make decisions, tough decisions, in a men dominant world. So it was amazing experience.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
So can I give you some advice? I would like to give you advice with sleeping on other people's beds and things like that.
Yeah.
Or even in your own. I started doing this, right soon after I started engaging. And I think I learned it from Mike Parsons, actually. So I must give him credit. But every time I go to sleep, like before I go to sleep, I engage with Yeshua, and I have specifically Yeshua, he leads me to do this. Okay. So, but we go and I ask him to help my soul rest with him in the heavenly realms. Okay. And so when I do that, then there's no way of my soul being attacked at night. Also, I am fully rested and wonderful when I wake up. That's also lovely. But that's what I would recommend doing, is going and resting in the Lord, whether you do it with Yeshua or the Father, just whatever you feel led to do. But I often would see myself going, and we would kind of just rest by the river at first. And then eventually, when I first started engaging, my son was really young. The one who just turned 18 today. He's an adult. I can't even believe it.
Happy birthday.
My Soren baby. Anyway, back when I started engaging, he also started engaging around the same time. And he was still attached to me in the way like he couldn't go to sleep without touching me. Okay. That was how he was for a long time when he was little. And so I find them like, dude, you can't have me there. What's going to happen when you go to college and I'm still supposed to like lay down with you, And he said, Mom, I'm home colleging. That's what he said, because I homeschool. Anyway, I'm like, no, okay, here's what you need to do. And so he had this hammock in the heavenly realms that he would always go lay in with Yeshua. And he had a little koala. I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, he would always go rest with Yeshua in this hammock. And so I said, here's what we'll do. I'll meet you in the hammock. Okay. So and I know, and when you engage, you don't have to engage at the same time in the natural to engage in the same time in the heavens. Okay. So for instance, he could engage at 9 p.m. and go meet me in the hammock, and I haven't engaged yet. But when I engage and I'm going to bed, I go meet him in the hammock. So this is what we would do every night, is I would go meet him in the hammock with Yeshua and this koala, and we'd all cuddle together in the hammock. And so
Wow.
And it was great. And that's how he learned to go to sleep on his own. And he would always kind of do his governing before he went to sleep and then end up in the hammock, you know. And so it's interesting because I learned to rest and that other people can rest in the heavenly realms and not have to worry, because he had a real problem with being attacked at night. But anytime he would rest in the heavenly realms with Yeshua, he wasn't attacked. And so he learned to engage his angels for protection for our whole family, and then to rest with Yeshua. And then he was never attacked again. And so this was important back then, but I feel like it's important for us, even as adults, to know, hey, yeah, I can do that. You know, I can engage with my angels for protection and then go rest with Yeshua, and they're protecting my body, and Yeshua, I'm with him in my soul. And so that can't be attacked either. So you won't have these horrible dreams and all of that. Now, some people, like I don't know if this is still the case, Karen, but like Karen was shown when we went and engaged her dream gate to do the cleansing, the Lord said that he would still use her dreams to show her how the enemy was planning to attack.
Okay.
Now, sometimes I'm going to just give you a little call out here, Karen, but I think you'll be okay with it. Sometimes she thinks she is being attacked in her dreams, but it's really the Lord showing her how they're planning to attack. And so it's important that she take that and then govern, right? So you could have these warnings and then just be like, oh, they're doing this, my life is over. Thankfully, she doesn't usually do that, but sometimes. I'm just kidding. But anyway, but the real thing is to go, oh, they're planning this. Okay, Lord, what do I do? How do we govern this? And he always shows really cool things and how to like overcome these things. Remember the car dream and all that? You know, it's so cool when we go and engage these things, then he'll show how to take it back and how to come against it. And it's actually such a blessing. And so each person is going to be different in how the Lord wants to speak to them and prepare them and do these things. So it may not look the same for me as it does for you. But at least just ask, is this something I should do? You know, and have an idea, oh, maybe I could do this. And whatever you do, still, I know I say this all the time, but I'm going to keep saying it. Don't just do it because it's a good idea that I have done. Just like, even though I learned that from Mike Parsons, I didn't just do it because Mike Parsons did it. I was like, is this something I can do? You know, that's something that's important, is to be like, is this something I should do? Is there something else? Because he'll lead you your way, you know? I mean, I never had a hammock until Soren, so you never know. But thank you for sharing all that, Lorado, because I think you're probably not the only person who deals with this sort of thing. And it's important to have some of these tools. You know, I was listening to a podcast that had nothing to do with Yeshua, actually. But it was very helpful. It was talking about having using all the tools you have in your toolbox. And if you don't have these tools in your toolbox, you'll never be able to use them. And I think that that's what we need, is to share these things with each other, to be able to go, oh yeah, I never thought of that. That could be helpful. Now you have a new tool. Whether you use it in every situation, who knows, but at least you have it and you know that you could use it. And so if we have these different things, we can share with each other and learn from each other and grow with each other and go, oh, I never thought of roaring, you know, just like Lorado was talking about. That's important because, you know, I'm like that too. I have this lioness. Okay. I don't know if it's an actual S in the spirit, but I am a lion in the spirit part of the time too. And so for me, that's one thing I didn't even know I had I was getting all of this astral projecting into my house at night, and it was making me crazy. And I was whining to the Father about it, like, you need to help me. There's been trespassing. This is what I was saying to him. And he was like, you can do it yourself. That's what he said to me. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he just said, remember, you're a lion. You need to roar. And I was like, oh, right. And then he's like, remember, you have this flaming sword. You need to use it to close these portals. And I'm like, I didn't know it was used to close portals. You know, it's so funny. I feel like I'm just a baby learning all the time. And he's like, grow up, you could do this, you know. But I just needed to be reminded of all these things that he's already put in me. Like, what
So
are these tools?
that's an important distinction for me. When the Lord has given you these tools to help you to govern, and there are things, trespasses, for example,
Mm.
what I'm understanding is that I can simply, in the spirit realm, positioning myself as a priest and king and whatever it is, and simply govern without going to the Lord and say, okay, Lord, this is happening on my property. What shall I do? Is that what you're saying? We can govern using the tools rather than keep going back to Him to say, what shall I do in this situation?
Okay, it's both.
I did
Okay.
that boy.
And the reason I say this is for me, okay, Lorato, I'm muting you. I love you. Okay. Um, no problem. Hi, Sadie. I just had to say that. Sorry. Anyway. Okay, I love him so much. Anyway, what I have learned about my own relationship is that at first I always saw Yeshua with me. And then I started practicing oneness with him, which was like him literally coming inside of me or me going inside of him and we working as one, right? And I then saw him only part of the time. And then now I never see him. Okay. The only time I ever see him is when I am engaging with someone else who isn't one with him. And then I see him like they see him. But now when I govern, I do what I'm led to do without having any instruction. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like, you know, the whole having the mind of Christ thing, that's like a real thing that I just never did before. I trusted it because it was part of the scriptures, but I certainly didn't embody it. And so now I'm embodying it and it's different. So I am functioning with that mind of Christ now in the heavenly realms to where I don't have to ask permission anymore. I just always do what I'm led to do. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just I see myself doing this. And so then I engage with it. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The word that came to me for some reason is like intuition. I know that's not probably the right word to use because of its negative association, but it's like
I don't think
you
of that
know,
as negative. I think of that as soul. So
okay,
perhaps it is like spiritual intuition. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it is like inside, you know, but you aren't actually thinking of it, you
yeah,
know? Yeah. A lot of times I will see myself doing things in the spirit as if, so my soul is watching the spirit. Okay. When that happens, I notice. And so then I go, wait, I want to be one. And so I engage with it to be first person kind of. And then we're doing it together as one, you know? And so you might do the same thing with Yeshua, as I'm doing with myself or with the Father. So with me, I almost always still see myself and the Father separate. I'm always one with Yeshua, but I'm not always one with the Father where I see it like that, experience it like that. But at times I am. And when I am, it's almost in the dark cloud that I see myself with him. So I don't know. It's a little complicated. I feel like all of the heavenly realms is a little bit complicated to our earthly minds, but I'm sure you guys understand in your own ways, right?
I like the fact that it is progression, it is growth, because when you speak sometimes, I put this pressure on myself, or this internal pressure which says, that's what I should be doing. I should know how to do this. But when you mention the different stages of, at first it wasn't with him, and then it was oneness with Jesus and such like, it's it's like I'm being kind to myself as I hear you talk about the stages of growth, because that's exactly what it is. The important thing is that just keep practicing with him.
Yeah.
And I think it reminds me of an example. For years, even before I knew about engaging, I used to go in my imagination, that's what I thought, to this little cottage, and the Lord will always be there. And there'll always be a fire on. He'd be sitting in this chair next to the fire, and I'll come and I'll sit in the opposite, in the chair opposite him. And I did this literally for years. I went in one day and I can smell this heady fragrance of sweet peas. And I said, Lord, how did you know this was my favorite flowers? And he kind of gave me this wry smile. It's like, how did I know that's your favorite flowers, kind of thing. But about 2 years ago, if it's that long, I went to this place and the cottage was no longer there. But the Lord was sitting on like the hill, not far from where the cottage used to be. And I was so perturbed. I'm saying, like, Lord, what happened? I was really anxious in my spirit. What happened? It's like, what's gonna? And then he said to me, like when you're at primary school and it's time for you to go to secondary school, you turn up at at primary school at the start of the term when you're supposed to be in secondary school. Primary school is no longer there. And that's what he said to me. He said, you have graduated now. This was primary school. You're now going into secondary school. And instantly, I was in the throne room of God when he said that. And I didn't know I was engaging with him all those years ago. But having these classes with you has made me realize that there are times we are engaging with the Lord when we're not sure, and he's so gracious.
Yeah.
So we do grow in him, but it's nice to actually hear someone say, this is the step, or these are the steps.
Yeah, you know what? I wish I would have known that too, because I've just learned that stuff by it happening. And I didn't at first, I'll tell you what, when there was a bit where I never saw Yeshua, yet I knew I was with him somehow. And I didn't know how to talk about it because I had always said, go ask Yeshua. And I realized I'm never asking him anymore. And so am I a hypocrite? This is what I'm going through in my head, like I can't tell people I never see him anymore because then they're going to think I'm off on some sort of wacky thing. And that's when he started kind of showing me the progression, because I didn't even notice. The truth is, I didn't even notice the progression. It just happened, and I engaged still the same. And then he showed me, and I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I started realizing I don't have a relationship with Yeshua anymore because the relationship is still outside of someone. Like I'm relating to another when really we are one, and it's as if we are the same. It's not a relationship. I used to talk about how the the extreme importance of intimacy, which is still super true, by the way, but there's a deeper intimacy that is being one, and that is walking as one and operating as one and not actually in relationship, which I didn't understand before. I knew intimacy was important, but I didn't understand the oneness completely. I used to talk about it with my ex-husband. We would always talk about how we were one. It was actually kind of bull, although we didn't have bad intentions. We wanted to be one, but neither one of us understood what it meant. Neither one of us really understood that it was walking as one. It was being one mind, one heart, completely connected and unified. And so I think we have, at least me, I can say me, I just had such a very infantile understanding of so many things in my Christian walk that I did the very best I could with what I had. But I just didn't know better, And it's so nice to kind of be on this side where I'm still learning. I still have deconstruction happening all the time, but I'm finally like, oh, I'm getting to maturity. You can see it happening to where you recognize, oh, there is the other side. There is more. There is a deeper intimacy than we know. I'm sure there's way deeper than I know now because I still have that kind of separation with Father. Imagine when I'm one with Father. I can't even imagine. I really believe that that's what Yeshua accomplished in the whole glorified body that he came back with during like when he was resurrected but not ascended yet. I really think there was a oneness with Father that he had there that I have yet to experience. And I can't wait because I know there's a lot more, Anyway. Oh, Earl, your contact.
Yeah.
You got new contacts. And so,
they're good,
okay, good.
but I don't know how to take them out.
You don't know how to take them out?
It's all right. It's all right. I need a mirror.
After class, I'll help you. I am an expert with contacts.
Okay.
I've only started to wear glasses in the last couple of years. I do not love them. Anyway. Well, any comments, questions, anything like that about all this stuff?
Okay, I have a question. A couple of you mentioned lions or lion. A couple of days ago, the Lord reminded me, or I was reminded, and it has to be the Lord. I just saw myself sitting on these steps and I was petting my lion. I completely forgot I was given a lion in the spirit realm. And this is a big male lion with fluffy manes. And I was petting him like a big dog. So it is like a household lion, as it were, in terms of its nature with me. But I also have a feeling that with me is the same way you have trained a dog to be a pet at home. But if you were to release it, it will be its full nature as a vicious dog. That's the sense I get from him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a stupid question is, can I talk to him and ask him why he's with me and what we meant to be doing together and all this?
Obviously. What kind of question is that? Yeah.
I can't, as soon as I started asking the questions,
kind
like,
of a stupid question. I thought, no,
Yes.
There's no stupid questions. And then you asked, I'm like, hello.
As soon as I started, it's like, of course you can.
Of course you can.
I'm just stroking him and like, he's just so lovely, just like having a real pet. That's what he's like. And I don't know why I'm reminded of him, but yeah, I will talk to him.
Yeah. The nice thing about, okay, yeah, I've talked about how you can communicate with animals here, right? But in the heavens, it's so much easier because you will sense them answering you as if it's English or something. You know what I mean? And it's so much easier to communicate, I feel like, in the heavenly realms. So it's not something you'll have to be trained to do.
Ah,
That's cool.
yeah. Okay.
That's exciting.
Mhm.
So I was thinking this whole class has been about what you talked about last week about maturing from what we watch, what we look at, where we lay, the people we allow in, taking the limits off of God, not just, so that's what's been happening all week for me, has been just dealing with the religious mindset that we've all learned from church that has kept us in the box, that actually put him in a box. So like I shared with you, I finally have been starting to be able to see with my eyes closed
Yay.
and actually
Amen.
really see. So that's been like night and day.
That's so cool.
So, but yeah, I was just thinking about everything being shared. This is all part of the being mature and growing in our faith in this walk. So, yeah.
Yes, thank you. I didn't know that's what we were talking about, but turned
I
into.
love the way he summarized it. Yeah.
I know. Okay, this one is going to be called maturity or something. Okay. Help me remember that. If I message you and say, what did we talk about? Then just remind me of that.
Gotcha.
I'm
yeah, that's
glad.
good. Go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned something about, how I also would talk to Joshua all the time, all the time. But then I, I do feel like I spend so much more time with Father that I actually started feeling bad if I felt like I was neglecting Jesus. So I'm glad you said something like that. And I tend to do that, right? Because now that we have a lot of angels, we have a lot of angels working. And so when I started working with Billa, I kind of forgot about my guardian angel, Samuel. And so I felt bad. And I was like, duh. And I felt embarrassed because they're like obviously hearing, seeing me talk to somebody else in front of them. So I don't know how to not feel that way. So then I kind of just randomly start, like when I greet, I don't know. Okay, so maybe you can give me some insight on that because I feel like I have to go down like a list to make sure I don't miss anyone because I don't want to hurt their feelings. So maybe you can, like, I don't know, enlighten me on something like that. I
Okay,
don't
well,
know.
I'll give you my perspective, okay? Because I kind of felt like that at one time. The very first angel I was ever introduced to who was assigned to me was Shemiel. And I worked with him for a long time and then just noticed, oh crap, I haven't really talked to him in a couple of years. That's kind of what I was doing. And I felt like the Lord just showed me there are seasons for everyone. It's not like it's like this in relationships too. Have you ever had a human relationship that you haven't talked to them in a couple years and you're like, oh man, I feel terrible. They probably think I hate them. And then you talk to them and it's just like you never quit talking, And it's very similar in our relationships with angels or anyone else. I think I have a tendency, which I definitely saw you doing just now. You are eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You, without meaning to, you're going, I need to do this. This is something I should do in order to tick my religious boxes. Okay. And you may not even think it has to do with religion because you're like, but I love them and I want to show them love, right? Which is true. But what if you did that with every single person you know? Yeah, that would be dumb. Like that couldn't even work, right? At least for me, looking at my Facebook
Yeah, but
list,
they're
it has
right there,
thousands.
aren't they? Aren't they
What?
like right here, right now?
I mean, some of them.
I mean, so
Do
they
you
don't
think
hang out
they're
with you all
all
the
just
time?
hanging around you constantly? Oh,
Like
no.
my guardian angel, yes.
Okay, well,
No,
maybe they
I
are.
don't know.
Maybe they
Christine, I
are.
saw your guardian angel a while ago when you were talking about him.
Oh yeah.
He was laughing.
That's fun. I think some are and some aren't. This is kind of how it is with most beings. I mean, they aren't everywhere all the time. You can send them places. I've sent angels places, you know. In fact, I think I may have told you about this. I have these traveling angels who are with me when I'm driving. And they also help like fix my car and stuff like that. And my friend Linda was broken down. And so I asked them to go help her, and they wouldn't leave. They wouldn't do it. And I was kind of ticked at them. Like, why would you not do this? And then, so I was like, whatever, I'll just go meet her and find her and see if I can help, even though I know nothing about cars. And so I went and met her at Dylan's where she was broken down. And then my angels got excited to go help her. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, now you're helping. What? And they showed me they could not leave me when I was traveling, that it was their assignment to be with me. And so I could send them if I'm not driving, but if I'm driving, they can't go anywhere. And so it's really interesting because I didn't know that. I mean, I'm just like, why can't you go do whatever, you know? But anyway, I think that there are some who need to be around us all the time, and then others who can go do all sorts of things. Arias goes ahead of me all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of time. When I'm traveling, he goes way ahead of me. And so, but then there are other times when I'm seeing him, especially in the heavenly realms, I see him a lot. Like we're together. But yeah, I don't know. I think you could tick all the boxes, but I know I couldn't. I couldn't do it because I know I have many thousands who are assigned to me, and there's no way, I don't even know them all. And so it's just like my Facebook page, you know, I have, I don't know, 7,000 followers or something. I don't know all those people. I mean, I love them because I love people, but it's like that with angels. I love the angels because we're on the same mission together, but I don't actually know them all, you know?
You just don't want to call on them just when I need them, you know? That seems not nice.
I get that, but it's okay. When people call me and they need me and I haven't seen them in a few years, I never think those
That's
stupid
true.
people. No, I'm like, oh dear, of course I'd help you. You know, that's how I feel. I don't
That's
know.
true.
I don't know. You do you. If the Lord leads you to tick all the boxes, do it. But I know I couldn't do it. I know that's not anything he could lead me to do.
It's raining. But then I also don't feel genuine. I feel like I just want to be courteous as well. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, okay.
You know what? This is something you might do. It's just kind of when you wake up or whatever, go, hey guys, is there anyone here who wants to help today? You know, that sort of thing. And then just go with whoever you feel led to engage with. Right?
I like that. Amen. I like that. And then I like what Jamie said. He reminded me actually in the conference that I went to.
Mhm.
Um, Proverbs 13:20, I think it was. It was like walk with the wise, become wise. And then of course I'll paraphrase the rest of it, walk with the turkeys, gobble in. Um, that's why I love this class, is because we're all trying to get better, right? And trying to engage and become wiser. So just I appreciate it. I don't like to miss, but I sometimes have to miss, but I do love listening to the recordings.
Good.
So thank you.
Yes, blessings. That's cool. Amanda, what were you going to say?
Oops. Sorry. I was just going to talk about, I wasn't going to share this, but I heard you talking about sharing tools and stuff. And so I've been doing my, I don't know what you call it, but I just call it my mantra, just for lack of a better word. And it's when I do my I am, I feel, I look, I speak, and so one of the things that I started doing was I started engaging my my subconscious, my conscious, my unconscious, and all that.
Hmm.
But another thing that I started doing was I started calling parts back of me that have been held hostage or that have are hiding or whatever. I started doing that, and I heard somebody speaking on it that week that I started doing it, and they were talking about how if you don't engage with those parts of yourself, that you'll still have that trauma or unhealing. You'll have things that you're not healed from and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I thought that was really neat because I had no idea. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was Yeshua that was telling me to call them, and I just felt it in the spirit and was just calling them,
Hmm.
calling it back in. And so I just wanted to share that. And also, we talked about like me being abducted when I would sleep a lot.
Hmm.
And the Lord was showing me that that's one of the reasons that I had insomnia, or I had insomnia,
Hmm.
was because that was something that I would have a lot of fits when I was asleep because of the abduction and stuff like that. And so I hadn't had one in quite a while. And then the other day I thought I had an abduction, but it really wasn't an abduction. Um, I actually went somewhere, I guess like on an assignment,
Hmm.
and went to go fight some gangsters. It was weird.
That's
It
fun.
was crazy. But it always ends with me telling them about the Lord and just, giving them, spiritual advice and stuff like that.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I woke up and I was like, where was I? I was like, oh my gosh, because I thought it was really happening. And so when I woke up, I was like, somebody in my room, and then, I kind of started like decompressing from it, and I started engaging the Lord, you know, and and then he was just showing me, hey, no, this was not. And I was like, because at first I was like, Lord, why weren't you protecting me, or angels? Who was supposed to be protecting me as I slept? And then I was like, okay. So I just kind of unpacked it, decompressed it, whatever, and just, figured out what was going on. And so, um, but that's pretty much it.
That's fun.
I'm gonna say that I miss that in the sense that I used to dream a lot more and I used to be more like battling for the Lord. I haven't had that in a while. And I always get excited about when it happens. I just love it, but I just haven't had that. I'm
We're
gonna
the
talk to the Lord.
opposite. You know, there was a time when I was selling CBD and they came out with a I know that sounds weird, but it I was. And without THC. Anyway, they came out with one of them that was for sleep, and I don't have a problem sleeping, but I was like, well, I can't sell anything. I don't know how it works. And so I took the sleep CBD that also had melatonin in it. And all night long, I was experiencing what I do at night in the spirit. And I was like going and doing these different missions and ministering to people and traveling everywhere doing this. And I was like, whoa, I did not realize I like had this feeling that I was doing that, but I never experienced it until that. And I was like, I don't really want to do this. I mean, I'm happy to be doing it, but I'm not really excited to know about it all. That sounds terrible, but I was just like, I want rest in my soul and not to have to think about all the things constantly. And so I have learned recently that my body goes into deep sleep like twice as long as everyone else's. at least average in the United States. And I know it's because my body needs recovery so bad, but it's been like this for years. And when you're in deep sleep, you don't dream or you don't remember dreams. Only when you're in the light sleep, the REM sleep, are you remembering that. And so, anyway, I'll bet it depends on that. And so you might just ask the Lord, can I experience some of this? Should I experience some of this? For me, I think I shouldn't experience it because my mind needs rest and my body needs recovery. And so, just ask him first about if you should. That would be wise, probably. Yeah. But I understand the desire, especially if you're not doing that all the time in the day. For me, I feel like I'm doing it so much in the daytime. I don't want to do any of it at night. I just want to rest and recover.
It can get exhausting. I mean, like usually I only have like 30 minutes of deep sleep. I have experienced an hour of deep sleep and I was like, oh my gosh, whoa, 30 minutes, an hour of deep sleep. Like I don't usually have deep sleep.
Oh
Like,
man, that's awful. I have like 5 hours a night of deep sleep.
it's only.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How
Oh
do you
man.
know how long you have deep sleep at night?
Oh, I have a sleep app I use.
Oh,
Yeah, it tracks your sleep and all your sounds you make and everything like that. So it's called Shut Eye. That's what I use. But it's nice because it records. I was worried about, my kids said that sometimes I was holding my breath and I'm like, oh no, do I have sleep apnea? And I don't know it. So I downloaded the app because of that. I was like, I need to know if I'm having problems. And so, because I don't sleep with people. And so anyway, I downloaded the app and no, I don't have problems with that, thankfully. But it does tell you exactly how long you're in deep sleep and in light sleep and how many interruptions and if you're snoring or if you're talking or if you're farting. I mean, it tells you all the things. So anyway, it's interesting.
I'm gonna have to get that. I wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
Well, actually, I wanted to start out by saying, even the session I had one of the sessions with Lorado, and I saw how I was going. Like I was questioning why I was wearing all black. I saw myself wearing all black, like this secret op mission, and I had all these weapons on me, and like I was going on these secret missions or something for God. So I'm like, God, I'm gonna be doing black ops or something in the spirit. What's going on? But that's part of what we saw. Part of what I saw in the spirit. Would that be in my sleep, or I guess I have to ask the Lord more about it to go deeper.
Yeah, it'll never hurt to ask, but I can tell you just from engaging with you last week or something, whenever that was, about the car stuff, the car dreams and stuff. When I saw that, I definitely got the impression that you were doing missions I think you're doing it in the spirit realm of the earth. And so you should ask the Lord about it, but I'm sure that's what's going on. And you could be doing it at night. I don't know.
And I keep hearing in my tongues, when it comes back in English, I hear nations, something about the nations, and there's some kind of urgency, but I don't know. And then, but I wanted to ask, okay, because when you said something about the astral projecting, like I see them in my house, and sometimes I feel so, because I'm praying and asking God, well, God, what do you want me to do? Father, what do you want me to do? And it seemed like I'm doing what I'm thinking he's telling me to do, but it's like they are still coming, like they won't leave me alone. Won't leave me alone. And then I hear them when they leave. Sometimes I hear them when they leave my house.
What do they come and do? I'll be
they're
like, what are you doing here?
projecting. Sometimes they're projecting into my dreams. I feel like they're trying to send stuff. They're trying to touch me. They're trying to search me. Like I anoint my whole body. So sometimes they'll pick my arms up. They try to put stuff under my arms. They try to inject stuff into me. But I'm telling them, even in my sleep, I anointed that. That's anointed. You're not gonna get through. They tried in my nose one time. I anoint in my nose. You're not gonna get through. It's already been anointed. Like all over my body. He'll come and search me. I don't know what it is that God wants me to do, but I really want them to stop coming in my house. Really.
Well, you know what? We should engage soon. And so how about let's all ask the Lord if there's anything that she needs to do to help her out, okay?
Thanks.
Of course, we can engage anything else the Lord leads us to as well, but just we can do that too. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, let's engage now. Okay. All right, let's focus back here. All right, is there anything that you'd like to share about what you experienced while engaging?
Mine is really, I don't know, it's really out there. So when I engaged over you, I saw you like, I don't want to say, you were kind of like a rocket and you just were like going through outer space, but it was kind of like a loose cannon because you were like, you were holding on to Yeshua's hand and you were kind of like dragging him and you were like going super fast through outer space. And or I call it outer space, I don't know, it was in the heavens. And so but then I saw like, I don't know, it was like I've never seen anything like this. It was like it wasn't just you, it was like you and a tribe of people.
Hmm.
And what it reminded me a lot of was, I don't know, the Black Panther. Have you ever seen that movie? It reminded me a lot of that because you know how they have their black, he has a black outfit and it was similar to what you had. And like it was like you were learning and you were maturing in what you were doing. And it was like you because you were going so fast, like you entered into territories that you didn't necessarily have permission to be in. And so it kind of like gave a legal right. And so that's why I was like, is this really? I was just asking Lord, is this really, is this true what I'm seeing? Is this true what I'm hearing? Because it was kind of like, wow, you know, like, and so I was just asking the Lord about it. And I mean, he just kept giving me more like that was because they had legal rights and they were actually at one point looking for you. And that's when you were saying with the needle, like they were try to poke in your nose and experiment and stuff like that. It's because of who you are, because you're like like you said, you're like a warrior. And so it was kind of like at one point you left and you left the tribe without, kind of like you snuck off and you just, went on your own type of, like you escaped, kind of like that. And it wasn't actually from the tribe, it was from the people that were attacking the tribe. And what else did I get? That was pretty much basically. Oh, and the reason that he had you anoint yourself was to protect yourself. So because he knew this was happening and because he wanted you to learn about what it is that you need to learn, as far as like who you are. And so like I said, you're maturing in that area. That's what I got. I don't know.
That's cool. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you. It kind of sounds almost about right, but I don't know where I'm going that I'm not supposed to go. It must be on accident. I don't know.
Yeah, it's because like when I said you were like a rocket and you were just shooting out there, and so when you were going, you were just like going through these territories that you didn't necessarily have permission to be through. And so they were like, hey, like, what are you doing in our territory type of thing.
Hmm.
And so it wasn't like you did it intentionally. It was just like you were just going.
Thanks, Amanda.
I saw an unveiling like a story. It's as though something was placed from the distant past into what, without knowing the right word, it's not exactly your bloodline, but in your family, in your bloodline kind of thing. And the more I engaged, the more it started to become like something precious, like a nugget, that they were sent to find this nugget. This nugget is like in you, but you don't know it's in you. So they're sent to find it. You are also like the chosen one to take it to court. So whatever it is like you're the person that will take it to court with your heavenly legal team. I also sense that you have like a company of warriors or angels or witnesses that are with you. They're helping to guard you, to protect you on your, it's a bit like what's that program? The three towers, the with Bilbo, and if you've seen that film.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. It's a bit like that. There is something placed in you that they want to recover before you have time to take it to the court of the Lord for the Lord to deal with it. Yeah, that's what I'm sensing.
Cool.
Mm,
Thanks, Pearl.
who
Wow.
knows?
Thank you, Pearl. That sounds about right. They want to take something from me. That was the keys I dreamed about. And they were trying to get me to give my keys and my keys and my sister's keys to somebody else. Yep,
Mm.
you're right.
Yeah, so
Just
that nugget thing is precious to them, but it's also, yeah, precious to you. When you go to court, the people, they're not people, so the entities or angels or whoever that are with you now, they will be testifying in your favor in court when you go there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice. Anyone else have anything that you want to share? Okay, well, I guess that is the end for us. It is already time anyway. Nice to see you guys today, and we will catch up again this week. Try to engage with others. It's always great. Okay. All right. I love you guys. See ya.
Love you too. See ya.
Bye.